beautiful downtown Millheim, in the smack dab center of the Keystone State. This is Lou Bryson with Seen Through a Glass, the podcast that's mostly about food and drink in central Pennsylvania. Welcome to episode 65. Who really owns OIP? What is OIP, and why am I curious about who owns it? Well, in the famous words of Inigo Montoya, let me explain. No, there's too much. Let me sum up. When we started visiting Central PA regularly, even before we decided that this would be our new home, we brought some prejudices with us. No, not like that. Prejudices about food, not drinks, because I'd been introduced to the beer scene here years before that, back in the 1990s. And of course, I bring whiskey with me like a snail carries its home. But we assumed we'd have to do without some of the food we'd been used to in the Philly suburbs. We could easily find lots of great eats there: Mexican, cheesesteaks, Chinese of various types, German and East European hoagies, Indian, Uzbek, and Georgian, Thai, seafood, deliciously fresh bread, and Italian restaurants in mad profusion in South Philly, in Bristol, and in the Chambersburg neighborhood of Trenton, just across the river. And I also have to send respect to Vecchio Osteria in Newtown, PA, where we loved the wood-grilled squid mantles on arugula, an appetizer that easily made a meal with their fresh bread and delicious olive oil. Maybe most of all, though, we didn't think we'd see a similar availability of great pizza of many types. The familiar thin-crust Jersey beauties with fresh, bright sauce and tasty mozzarella, but also the Trenton tomato pie, crackling crisp coal-fired oven pies, white pies, and a mad array of toppings. I still think sometimes about a spinach and garlic monster that I had in Upper Darby, and a delicate prosciutto and goat cheese beauty I got down in Center City. We were told that pizza was kind of hit and miss here, often good, but rarely great. To be honest, that's a fair assessment. Between underdone crusts, sweet sauces, raw or canned mushrooms, it's a personal quibble, admittedly, and sometimes corner cutting to keep things cheap, pizza can be disappointing in Central PA. Now, that's not to say you can't get good pizza. Just one example, I've had very good pizza at Faccia Luna in State College, with the bonus of an excellent selection of draft beers at their bar. Now, the reason I go through all of this, the summing up, is to let you know that when we visited, then stayed over, and finally bought the house and settled in, we had our eyes on restaurants, particularly pizzerias, which made it impossible to miss OIP. OIP is what everyone calls the original Italian pizza shops that dot Central PA maps. There are original Italian pizzas in Mifflinburg, Hollidaysburg, Lewisburg, and Lewistown, Milroy, Millville, and Mill Hall, Lock Haven, Tyrone, Everett, all the way up into Towanda and Sayre, and down to Bedford and Huntingdon, and more of them, dozens of them, all over. Now, original is a word that is attached to pizza places all over the country. But these seem so similar. The name, the small town locations, the red, white, green OIP signs. Was it a franchise? Was it a single company? Or was it just a name that had maybe escaped trademark and was being used by anyone who felt like opening a pizza shop? I mean, this wasn't the first thing I thought of when I woke up, last thing that puzzled me when I fell asleep, but I'll admit, the mystery kind of picked at my consciousness, especially when we'd drive by one or get a pizza or a sandwich at one, like that chicken cheesesteak at the Millville OIP that I mentioned in episode 47. I wanted to know. Well, just in the past couple months, the pieces clicked together and the mystery's solved. It's a good story, a fun story, and, to my delight, a very Central PA story that has a legitimate Brooklyn connection. We know what we're about here. Mystery Explained, coming up soon. And there's no mystery about what comes next. Here's what I'm drinking today. What I'm drinking today seems completely appropriate for the topic. I'm having a 2019 Tenuta di Ulisse Amaranta Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. Now, I was not a wine drinker for most of my life until I went to Italy sometime around 2006 on a church choir trip. Our tour guide, Susanna, took it as a personal mission to bring me to wine. She started me with a fairly delicate red, a Dolcetta d'Alba, the wines she said she'd first liked. And it worked. It was tasty, not overpowering, and I tried several more before coming home. Montepulciano d'Abruzzo has become a favorite. It's richly fragrant, has a full body with good tannins, and it works so well with red sauce Italian and pizza. That checks a lot of boxes for me, and good ones can be had for under $20, which is a huge bonus. In fact, the 2019 I'm drinking is on clearance at the PA State stores because there's not a lot of it left. There are 17 bottles at the Camp Hill store, or at least there were. I might be headed down there tomorrow. Enough talking. Let's open this up. The Tenuta pours a really rich, deep red. It's purplish. It's dark. It's like as opaque as a good stout. Oh, man. The smell. I just love this. This is what I really love about Italian reds, that, rich smells of fruit, but at the same time, almost like a cedar edge. It has a character I can only describe as vaporous. It's like as soon as I get my nose into it, the wine senses that and sends off more waves of aromas. I'm getting that little bit of cedar, but also red fruit, some crisp tart berries, crushed grape skin, slightly acidic aroma. I've been swirling and waiting long enough. I've got to have some. The body of that is so good. A wine can only be so full before it becomes fat and flabby or gross and sticky. This stuff has a full body that is at the same time not at all sticky. It is full, rich, balanced. The tannins pull things off the top of the mouth, and every bit of stuff that was in that aroma is in the mouth. It's all there. So good. Wow. I don't like every wine, but when I get a good one, this 2019 was a well-received vintage. Excuse me. Sorry, I just keep drinking. Got 90+ ratings from a variety of different reviewers. I bought 6 of these bottles when I was out buying because I saw that it was available here, so I went ahead and got it. I believe the price was somewhere between $17 and $18. It's currently under $14 on clearance at the state stores. Yeah, I'm a little gushy. I really like Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. And that's a good one. The Tenuta Ulisse Amaranta. Tonight's dinner is spaghetti and meatballs, and this is going to be perfect. Hey, I've got some really new stuff for our Smack Dab in the Center, sponsored by the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau. Now, I'm not a hiker. I'm very goal-oriented when I walk. It's to get somewhere. It's purposeful. But put me on 2 wheels, and that's different. I'm riding to ride. I'm looking at scenery, noticing the cool shifts and how the very air feels and smells as I descend hills or cross streams, lifting my tail as we bump over dips and branches, trying to float steady along dicey surfaces. Biking is my zen. If your outdoors is about cycling, I've got a friend for you. The brand new Happy Valley Gravel Adventure Guide is now available. This is a collaborative project from Gravel Adventure Field Guides, partnered with the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau, Happy Valley Women's Cycling, and the Pennsylvania Environmental Council. This isn't road riding. This is gravel, hills, splashy streams, and deep woods. The guide gives you maps and description of trails like the Tussey Mountain Classic, the Poe-Patty Loop, Sproul's Vision, and the Rothrock Endurance Grit. My favorite part? The maps note where there are particularly great vistas along the trails. I do love a view. They don't miss other great views either. The map also notes the locations of breweries, coffee shops, and restaurants. Tuck this in your pack or pocket along with a purple lizard map, and you're set to go. This is a brand new guide. In fact, it's so new, it doesn't even have a link yet at the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau website, happyvalley.com. Don't worry, find it easily by searching Happy Valley Gravel Guide. It'll pop right up and you can get a copy sent to you. See you on the trail. Now, like I said, the OIP thing was bugging me. I poked around here and there, I searched newspaper indexes online, I asked on social media, but never got more than people mentioning either the Lewistown or Burnham OIPs as the oldest. I'm just not journalist enough to go head on cold calling on something like that. I like to have an introduction. So when I was talking to Jason Ufema about scheduling his interview for the Shy Bear episode we just did, he mentioned that he knew John Pannizzo, who owns the OIP in Lewistown. His dad, Jason said, had opened the first OIP in Lewistown. He could tell me about that. Great. Jason introduced us by text message, and it quickly became clear that John did have the story I'd been looking for, the whole OIP history, and more importantly, how all those stores are connected. It was both more complicated and at the same time simpler than I'd imagined. Why don't I just let John tell the story? He knows it better than I do. Here's the original Italian pizza interview. Hey, I'm here with John Pannizzo, from the owner of the downtown OIP and Grill in Lewistown. We're actually at Shy Bear. I kind of got hooked up with you through Jason here. So I'm glad you came on board and agreed to do the interview. Thanks.
I appreciate the invite, and it's actually a beautiful setting here at Shy Bear
It's
today.
nice.
Yeah, so we caught a beautiful day, and Jason's been great to open this up for us.
Yeah. So this is... I don't want to jump right in on your place. This is not the first OIP in your family.
No, it's not.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Well, we did start the first OIP.
Okay.
Our family did in downtown Lewistown in 1977.
Okay.
Yep, that was my dad. He was actually on his way to State College because he was told that State College was up and coming, and there wasn't many pizza shops up there, and he stopped in Lewistown, and we were in New York, and he stopped in Lewistown, and it was thriving. The downtown community was busy, and he said, "Why do we got to keep driving? Look at this place." and there happened to be a vacant spot on the corner of the square in downtown Lewistown, and they secured that, and
wow, it was really that spur of the moment-ish.
Yeah, that's how my dad was. My dad, I often say, he lived, he was in the Wild West when you could do things like that, be a maverick like that. Today takes so much more thought because the risks are so much more expensive. So,
yeah.
But, back then that's how it was.
Well, that's why I just did the Del Grosso interview a couple months ago, and that's how he bought the amusement park.
Yep.
Just stopped in one night, it's like, yeah, I'll buy this place.
Yeah.
It just blew my mind.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's how it used to be.
That's how it used to be. It was the Wild West. And but yeah, he saw the downtown community. The people were everywhere. It was thriving. And he's like, look at this place. There was no pizza shops. And he said, this is where we're gonna set up.
Huh.
Yep.
So where did the name come from?
So he came up with the name, the original Italian pizza, because he wanted it to be different from anybody else making pizza.
Okay.
Because he is 100% Italian. And so he came up with the original Italian pizza, and then it just started in the vernacular of the community, OIP, and then OIP, and OIP. So those are all
okay, I haven't actually heard people say that, but
what's funny that nobody knows about, so this will be the first time I ever share this.
Okay.
I was thinking about this. The original script of the word original, he took that from the Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh my God!
Logo.
Everything comes back to beer. It always comes back to beer.
It is if it was original Pabst Blue Ribbon, he took the actual original script, and that's what he used. And that's actually never been said out loud. So I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, I'm just going to share that.
That's pretty awesome.
But what was amazing is you were saying about the time with the Del Grossos, what they did, and so many other families that just did spur on the moment. But, it was a family thing. We came to Lewistown in 1977.
And when you say you came from New York City, New York State?
New York City, Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
And when we came up from Brooklyn, New York, there was 22 of us.
Oh, my God, man.
Came, like just the whole family. We're going. It was almost like if you could picture the gold rush and the caravans of families moving out west, and it was basically that. And we come to Lewistown, and we all stayed in a 1-bedroom apartment by the Rocco family on South Main Street. They had an apartment. Father John Rocco was a priest at the Catholic Church, and he had a 1-bedroom apartment in the back, and we all stayed there.
Wow.
And then the Menino family, and there's a theme here of Italians, then the Menino family says, hey, I have a trailer you guys can live in. And so we moved into a trailer on Juniata Street, and we lived there for about a year. And, then the Gallardos helped us. There was just so many Italian, like, I'm saying like first generation Italians that just helped us. That just helped our family get acclimated into the community and stuff. And that was really a blessing for us. And what made my dad want to just live in Mifflin County forever.
See, this is the thing I have to ask, just as a Pennsylvanian.
Yep.
Why on earth would you leave Brooklyn to go to Lewistown?
Oh, it's the way of life here.
Okay.
It was very similar to their way of life in Sicily.
Ah.
We don't lock our back doors.
Yeah.
You know every one of your neighbors. You're not living in fear. My dad grew up in a small town in Sicily. Every town in Sicily is actually small.
Okay.
And Lewistown was very similar to that, where the city he just wasn't a city person. And so, when he has a chance to come to a place like Lewistown, it just resonated with him.
It's funny. I just realized that today, everywhere I go regularly in Lewistown is on the edge. Like I come out here to Shy Bear. Yep. I go down to Danny's Barbecue.
Yep.
And I got here early today, so I drove down. And I wanted to go past your place, and I'm like, this is actually the town. Yep. It's a very different town there than it is out on the edges. It's a real town, Lewistown.
Yeah, Lewistown has a real center hub.
Yeah,
but the traffic. The way the traffic patterns are laid out is really allowed this sprawl, where we don't think driving 5 miles to go get something is a big deal,
right?
Because I still consider Burnham and Yagertown as town. What I mean?
Yeah, it's because it just kind of
just migrates into that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but we do have a real center of town.
Yeah. I just did a quick search on Google Maps, and there's like 24 OIPs. Are they related? Are they franchised? Or is it just people taking the name because it's a good name?
So how big was your area that you searched?
Oh, God. Like up to the New York border.
Yeah. So at one time I counted about 109.
Oh, my God.
Okay. So, there's even one in Lake Conroe, Texas right now that still exists. They're out there. I think there's actually an international one also. So what happened was my dad came up here with the whole family, his brother-in-law, his brother, his brother-in-law's cousins, they all came up here, and Lewistown wasn't for everybody.
Okay.
And after a year, after a year or 2 years, a lot of them this is just too boring for me. They wanted to go back to the city.
Oh.
And a good portion of them went back to New York or Philadelphia because they liked that lifestyle better. And a good portion, and then the other remaining portion wanted to open up their own, because it was, it was all being partners,
sure.
And they all wanted to have their own place. And so, my dad opened up the one in 79, I believe it was, in Burnham.
Yep.
And he sold the one in downtown Lewistown to his brother-in-law's nephew. And then my dad opened up in 81 the one in downtown Huntington. He opened up Lock Haven.
Okay.
He opened about 22 of them, but as he sold them, those families then sprawled out even further.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So like the Scavone family in Huntington, downtown Huntington, opened up the one on Business, opened the one in Three Springs, went up to Altoona, Tyrone, and they sprawled out to Shalufus and Lock Haven, spread out, went all the way up, to Jersey Shore, So
this is all extended family.
it was extended family.
Okay.
That's how it has started.
Yeah, as soon as you said brother-in-law's nephew, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I see where we're headed here.
I talked to my dad about it once, and I said, Dad, imagine if you would have franchised this and this and that.
You
this
let it
and
get
that.
away.
And he said something. He goes, son, I was just happy I got my money back then. I was just thankful I got paid. I wasn't even worried about that.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably true with a lot of people back in the 70s, just didn't understand the power of franchising because it really wasn't prevalent back then.
Yeah.
If he started this in 87, maybe it'd be a different story, but it was 77. And by that time, it just spread out. And I think there's over 100 OIPs really everywhere.
Yeah.
Problem is, it's Frank's OIP, there's Joe's OIP,
Yeah.
there's Mike's OIP, there's this OIP, Michelle's OIP. There's just so. I wish we were franchised, to be honest. There's a few of us that have tried to look into franchising it, but we need everybody on board. And to get 109 Italians to agree,
herding cats is easy.
I think I have a better chance of winning that lottery the other day. 'Cause that would have been, but we could have been really powerful.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I've been thinking about this story for a while because I just kept seeing them everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, there was one in Millheim, but he
Yep.
shut down and sold out.
Yep. Frank was his name, I think, right?
Sal.
Yeah. You know what? I had a 50-50 shot with that one.
Right.
But he's good friends with my uncle because I know my uncle's talked about him before. But and everyone's unique.
Yeah.
Everyone's unique, and I wish we were all the same, but at the same time, there is a lot of uniqueness to it.
I kind of like the difference.
There is a personality to all of them.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of sales, we would have been stronger together.
Yeah.
And just buying power and
see, that's what I was really wondering if there was a connection because buying power would have been great.
But, my dad at one point he told me that he tried to rail it all in and looked into it, but legally it had become once the toothpaste was out, he couldn't put it back in. So you have to ask for permission to use the name, but he doesn't, but he can't charge for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's where it's left. And he's really, he gave up on that crusade years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, unfortunately, now you see some places you see an OIP open and then another one open a half a block away. And that's a shame that happens. But
it's almost expected.
Yeah.
When something succeeds.
Yeah. So, but the one trademark, I said we're all different, but the one thing we all have in common, all the OIPs, is every owner works hard.
Okay.
I mean, it's blood, sweat, and tears. It's their mothers in the back kitchen doing prep work. There's the kids are after school or sitting in the booth doing their homework. The OIPs are still family.
I'll tell you what, I don't remember ever being in a dirty one either.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're all family. They all put their blood, sweat, and tears in it. And the OIPs have given a lot of first generation Italians an opportunity to be successful in this country and chase the American dream. So that's something we are proud of.
Yeah. I see your names I see OIP on the back of a lot of like local T-shirts, kids, sports leagues, stuff like that.
Yeah, we're all intertwined in our communities, and and we should be proud of that.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about your place. I'll admit today when I drove by, it was the first time I've been. It's just not, like I said, I don't get into downtown much.
That's okay.
What's it like?
Well, The first OIP was on the other side of the square, and I said my dad sold it to his brother-in-law's nephew, and then that gentleman went out of business and closed it. So my dad opened the one where I'm at now in like 84. Then that nephew wanted to come back to town and then ended up buying that back from my dad.
Oh, okay.
So technically, it's really kind of the first OIP because it's still in the downtown area.
Okay.
I came back in 95 after graduating from Penn State, and I bought it from that gentleman, and I've been there since December 1st of this year will be 30 years that I've been there.
Wow.
And it was half the size, actually maybe 30% of the size it is now.
Dude, I got to say, you don't look like a man who's been 30 years anywhere.
Well, I used a really good extra virgin olive oil. Okay, I don't buy the faux stuff. I use the real good stuff.
All
so
right.
maybe that's the difference.
Maybe that's it. It's that
And,
Mediterranean diet.
Yep. But yeah, I've been there 30 years, and when I bought it and we renovated it, we had waiting lines. And right away we had to expand it again. And,
Wow.
And we've been blessed, and we built a relationship with our community that we're in it. We're here to support our community. I have so many employees over 30 years that have worked for me, and now they're in the hospitals working. They're running factories here. They're in our local governments. I'm really proud of the fact after 30 years how many people have made a living through my place and uplifted their lives. But we do a lot of great things downtown. I mean, originally our slogan is more than Italian because I was trying to differentiate us from all the other OIPs. We sell a lot of non-Italian stuff like wings and ribs. That
was actually one of the things I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
because I was looking at the menu.
Yep.
I like the pasta menu.
Yep.
The prices are really reasonable. There's a good variation. Between the pasta, the pizza, the grilled dinners, and the sandwiches, is it a pretty even balance?
Well, our number one thing is bread.
Okay. Okay. Stick a pin in that because I want to ask a whole question about the bread.
Okay. But so anything with our bread is really our most popular thing. Whether it's a salad, gets a loaf of bread, or a sandwich. But we do a lot of wings and ribs, and
I was surprised to see ribs. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that happen?
Well, because 30 years ago, I was part owners of a rib place in State College.
Okay.
And I was looking to do something different in Mifflin County because nobody was doing ribs 30 years ago. And so, we started selling ribs downtown, and I don't know if anybody sells more than we do. We sell a lot of ribs.
Okay.
And they're just tender, and we cook them for 3 hours, prior to selling them to a customer. So, we do a lot to them, and we're proud of how much we go through. It's really differentiated us from every other OIP.
Yeah.
It's expanded our markets because we're not just pizza and pasta and subs. We have a little bit for everything, and I think that's a big reason why we've been successful.
Well, it also, and I as I said, I haven't actually been in, but it has the look like you're maybe focusing more on dining in than a lot of the OIPs.
Well, I got to be honest. We focus on anything that rings that register. Okay? As long as the register rings, we're focused. Okay? I mean, because at the end of the day, the bills don't care if it's takeout or in-house. They got to get paid.
Where's the cash?
We've been one of the things that we do well compared to other OIPs and restaurants is we transition really well. For instance, we noticed years ago, it wasn't 2 persons going out for dinner. It's 6 or 8.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we redid our whole seating package to accommodate bigger groups. We're very successful in that. Like, we see big groups come in and we could easily jockey tables around and accommodate. And that's been a big success for our dine-in because that we could handle bigger groups.
Right.
And then our takeout is very successful also. Unfortunately, my dad, we talk about it. We even talk about it to this day, me and my managers, that my dad was so an anxious person. Like, we have to hurry up and take care of this customer. We have to hurry up and get them out the door. And so we have this speed thing but we're not fast food.
Yeah.
You know, we are just not fast food, but we make everything so fast to get them out. So, you know, we have I feel a good reputation that you were to take out from us, we're going to bang it out right away for you. And it puts pressure on our staff, but it is a mainstay of who we are. Plus, you know, I believe the way we pack it, the way our food keeps, I think that's all vital and important. And I think that's why we have a successful takeout and in-house business.
Yeah, everything has to come together.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So I think right now we're about 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I made that thing about bread. I really wanted to ask about it. I mean, your menu says the sandwiches are subs made with the homemade bread. Is this the stuff that some people call pizza bread? It's made with the pizza dough?
Yeah, we make it with our pizza dough.
Okay,
But
some people look down their nose at that. I love that stuff.
well, so our bread, I know people refer to it as like pizza dough, but our pizza dough is made to make the bread. Okay? It's not the bread is a byproduct of the pizza dough. It was really the other way around. How can, you know, they used to make two different recipes for the bread and the pizza, my dad, and then realized that this wasn't sustainable to do both because they're just doing so much of both.
Yeah.
So they started working on how can we make a recipe that both can happen.
Yeah.
And that's what we use. So we make one dough recipe for our pizza and our bread, and it cooks great in our ovens, which is another factor. So, you know, it cooks great in our deck ovens. I've seen it cooked in conveyor ovens, our bread, and it just doesn't cook as well. It just is what it is.
Right.
So the recipe just works that way. But my place, are very, very meticulous when it comes to our dough and our bread, because we believe it is the leader of everything we do. If once we start having bad bread is when we start losing market share and customers. But that's just the bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, that's article of faith. And I mean, I grew up near Philadelphia.
Yeah.
If the roll's not good, it doesn't matter what's in the sandwich.
No. You know, we're so different from a Philadelphia, like Ulisse roll and Amoroso roll or anything like that, which are great rolls. And I love my cheesesteaks in them.
Sure.
We are totally different, but you have to take care of this bread because our bread is so perishable, has no preservatives in it. Okay. I mean, it has no preservatives in it.
Make it, use it.
And it is as simple as salt, sugar, oil, flour, and water.
Wow.
And yeast. That's it.
Yeah.
We don't put anything in it. So it needs to be made right. It needs to be fresh every time. And you know, we get compliments all the time. Why is your bread the best OIP bread? It's because we're meticulous at it. You know.
Yeah. I've had a lot of different kinds of pizza. I mean, obviously I've had pizza around here. I've had pizza in Rome. I've had it in New Haven, Brooklyn, Detroit, California, Chicago. They're all good, but they're all different. And what I don't get is, what is it about pizza that gets people so fired up? Like, all that other stuff is trash. My local guy is the best. Why pizza? What is it?
You know, pizza really is comfort food.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. It's become comfort food in this country. And
which is funny, when you go back like 80 years, no one ate it.
Yeah, you know, that is true. But it is comfort food. And when you eat a slice of pizza, it brings back a memory. It brings back a memory.
Yeah.
I mean, I will tell you, if I go somewhere and someone breaks out a Domino's pizza and I have a slice of it, it actually brings me to someone's house where he used to have Domino's pizza there.
Yeah.
It brings me back to that. And that's how pizza is. So when you get a really good pizza, slice of pizza, and it brings you back to a favorable place, you want that all the time. And that's why everyone's local guy is important to them. You know what I mean? Because you get used to that, and that's what you know, and that's comfort.
Right.
You know? Look, I'll be honest. I love Detroit style pizza, especially a place that uses a really good sharp cheese.
Yeah.
And
gets that burny.
That burny edge and that buttery edge and stuff. I do like that. But when I have a nice thin cut slice of New York style pizza,
Yep.
I mean, that just brings me to a place that I just enjoy, and it's savory, and it brings back good memories. And I think pizza does that better than any other food, any other food in this that's out there.
Yeah. So the thing is, and last question.
Yep.
Pizzerias fascinate me not just as food, but as business, because there are several large and successful pizza chains, in Pizza Hut, Papa John's, Domino's, but they have failed to crush the individual pizzeria. Like, not even close. There are very few burger places left that aren't a franchise of some kind. Why has pizza stayed independent?
Because those chains are price conscious. And when you're price conscious, you're quality conscious.
Okay.
The local guy, and I'll be honest, I look at my pizza and I think for a large plain pizza at $15.50, I think is cheap. And the reason I think is cheap is because I know the quality of cheese that I'm buying.
Yeah.
I'm not buying the cheapest stuff. But we have distributors like, oh, we got this stuff. It's, it'll save you this much, not interested.
We have anything that's better than what I'm using. That's right.
It is. I use the best flour on the market. I use it. We do not make flour with anything other than what we use. People ask me, what are you paying for it? I don't know because I am not changing. Well, we could save you money if you switch. Well, I don't care. We are not changing. We get our sauce from California, our base sauce. I don't change. And these local guys, their qualities are way better than a Domino's, a Pizza Hut. And God bless those businesses because those are independent franchisees and they work hard themselves.
Sure.
But their model, I know this for a fact. I have an engineering friend who works for a company who makes flavors.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those major corporations, and I'm sure they all do, they provide the provolone flavor they put into the cheese. So they're using a cheap cheese. They put this flavoring into the cheese to make it taste like provolone and mozzarella. But that's why they can sell it for $5 a pizza,
Yeah.
We can't, we just can't do that. Just my cheese alone is $3 alone, just the cheese on a pizza. No labor, nothing, just the cheese is $3. So when I look at a $15.50, I'm like, man, that's a heck of a deal. You could feed 4 people and you're getting the best quality out there. So I think that's why the independents will never get beat by the franchisees, because it's about quality, and customers like seeing the owners. They do like seeing the owner, whether it's a pizzeria, whether it's a restaurant like Shy Bear, they like seeing the owner is involved, is engaged, and that gives them a good feeling like, I spent my money somewhere that means something.
And keeps it here, too.
And keeps it here. And that's why I think independents will always be successful.
Yeah.
Especially with pizzerias.
Cool. Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
One more reason why the independent pizzeria is successful, because we'll go into markets that others won't go into. Small towns.
Oh, right.
Okay?
Right.
And we're not afraid to go into the McVeigh towns or the Millheims of the world and set up there and build a following of all the locals.
Yeah, whereas it wouldn't make sense for the
franchisee. They would never do that. Just not enough money because their margins are so tight.
Yeah.
And so we're the mom and pops, willing to go anywhere as long as there's an audience. So
very central PA.
Yeah, very central PA.
All right. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good reminiscing.
Good.
Good reminiscence.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how good it is for me to finally find out this story. It's been bugging me.
So 30 years this December 1st, and keep on going.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, John. Take care.
Yep.
Jason was good enough to let us do the interview out at Shy Bear in the morning. There was nothing going on there, and it was a lot quieter than it was down at John's place. But after the interview, I went down to the OIP in Lewistown, and I bought myself some lunch, a hoagie. It was built on that one dough roll, and it was just like he said. The roll made the sandwich. It was great stuff. And the meats and cheeses were top-notch. I tipped my waitress and hit the road. And that is the original Italian pizza story. Well, not quite all of it. I posted a teaser on Facebook about this story right after I got the interview, and my good friend and colleague Don Kazant, a journalist in Syracuse, asked if there was a connection to the 7 original Italian pizza shops up in the queues. Well, I didn't think there was, because the logo and branding was all different, but I told him I'd look into it. Within an hour, before I even got a chance to ask, John Pannizzo had messaged me. He'd seen the question and let me know that, yes, the Syracuse OIP shops were connected. That's my cousin, he said. His dad and my dad were the original ones to come to Mifflin County. My cousin then migrated to Syracuse and started a group of them there. And that is the original Italian pizza story. I doubt it bothered any of you like it did me, but it's a good story, and now we both know. Now I'm thinking about a meatball parm for lunch. The Mifflinburg OIP is only 20 minutes away. Now, what else? American Whiskey Masterclass is finally available. We did the official launch at Dad's Hat Rye Whiskey Distillery in Bristol, PA last week, followed by a talk the next day at our friends at Stolen Wolf Distillery in Lidditz, PA. I got some podcast material out of those trips, so you'll be hearing more rye whiskey stuff, and I did a brewer interview with a friend I have a multi-generational relationship with. And this past Sunday, I did an event at Sisu, a new bar in Baltimore run by good friends who had a lot to do with the huge improvements in the drinks programs at the Hostel State College bars like Allen Street Grill, the Quarter Room, Chumley's, and Zeno's. We'll talk about that in the next episode. Next week, I'm hitting the road. Look out, Chicago. I'll be at the iconic whiskey bar Delilah's on Monday night, October 6th. Then Tuesday, I'll be moderating a discussion panel and signing books at the Indie Spirits Festival, something you really should put on your bucket list. Wednesday the 8th, I'll be at Blum Brothers Distillery in Galena, Illinois. And on Thursday, I'll be at Great Lakes Distilling in Milwaukee, my first ever visit to the Cream City. Yeah, I know, I can't believe that either. Then Friday and Saturday, I'll be signing books at Journeyman Distilling. Friday, I'll be at their Valparaiso, Indiana location. Then Saturday, it's all afternoon at the main Three Oaks, Michigan location, where once again, I'm helping to judge their barrel-aged beer festival. Folks, if you're within 2 hours, this is a hoot and a half and well worth it, even if you don't get a book. But come on, what's the matter with you? Get a book! Tomorrow, I'm going to the Mifflinburg Oktoberfest. And then the day after, I'm going to the Aaronsburg Dutch Fall Festival, and then over to our buddy Dave Drees's house for what's becoming an annual Valley party. Dave's house is down a dirt road, off a dirt road. You may have heard that. Dave told me he had some friends over recently and mentioned his dirt road interview from last episode. Well, they all wanted to hear it, so he queued it up. They were of the opinion that it would make a good drinking game. Every time Dave or I said dirt road, take a drink. That's the show. My thanks to John Pannizzo for the interview and to Jason Ufema for making that connection. You can find pictures for this episode on Instagram at Stag Podcast and on Facebook at Seen Through a Glass. If you'd like to toss a bit in my hat to keep the show going, I have a coffee button in my Instagram link tree. That's at Stag Podcast and at the Facebook page. Thank you. I want to talk a little more about pizza again. As I said, I do have prejudices, and I have a very simple prejudice about pizza. It's this: there are no bad types of pizza. There are only badly made pizzas. Pennsylvania has some very different pizza types that some people love to hate on. Why the hate? Because they're not classic New Jersey, Brooklyn, New Haven pizzas? Those aren't the same either, and people fight over that as well. I see this as a difference to celebrate. More things that make us unlike everywhere else. Because why would we all want to be the same? Some of these Pennsylvania pizza types I've already described. The crunchy, spicy Old Forge pizza, the cold cheese Ohio Valley pizza, and the focaccia-based Altoona Hotel pizza. earlier in this episode, I mentioned the Trenton tomato pie, which is Pennsylvanian by adoption. Usually, but not always, rectangular, the crust is spread with a paste-like sauce, very tomato-forward, and then sprinkled with grated Parmigiano cheese, and often eaten cold. I couldn't resist grabbing a small cut 2 weeks ago when I visited my sister and picked up a hoagie to split with her for lunch. Delicious quick snack. Mind you, Kathy's not a fan. Definitely not. There's also the Mon Valley Red Top. And of course, it's, as you would guess, in the Monongahela Valley out near Pittsburgh. It is a double crust, cheese-stuffed kind of round calzone thing that's then topped with red sauce. Twice. They put the red sauce on, they put it in the oven, they bake it for maybe 9-10 minutes, and then they take it out and put another light topping of red sauce on top and put it back in for 3 or 4 minutes, which makes that fresh sauce even brighter. Or so I've heard. I haven't had one. Really want to try this one. It sounds delicious. There's also Pagosh, the so-called pierogi pizza that's popular around Lent in Northeast PA, covered in cheesy mashed potatoes and buttery onions. Again, haven't had one yet. If you don't like these, don't even like the sound of them, well, don't eat them. But as they say, don't yuck someone else's yum. Let's dial back on the social media food hating and talk about what we like for a change, instead of yelling about how awful things that other people like are. What's coming up? I have a fascinating interview for you from one of the more thoughtful distillers I know. It's long, it covers a lot of territory, but I think you'll love it just like I did. I also have a quick recounting of those 2 recent stops in Baltimore, Sisu, and I had dinner at one of the classics of Little Italy. Until then, thanks for listening. This is Lou Bryson with Seen Through a Glass from the smack dab center of the Keystone State.